How many wives did Zeus have? 10, 7, 1, or 15? Zeus had 7 immortal wives, whose names were Metis, Themis, Eurynome, Demeter, Mnemosyne, Leto, and Hera. Metis, his first wife, was one of the Oceanides or sea nymphs. How many gods lived on Mount Olympus? 12, 5, 400, or 20? All 12 Olympians had a home on Mount Olympus, and that was where they were most commonly found. Hades, the god of the underworld, preferred to live there, and Poseidon often chose to stay in his palace under the sea. He performed 12 impossible labors for King Eurystheus? Apollo, Zeus, Hermes, or Hercules? Hercules performed 12 impossible labors for King Eurystheus. In Greek mythology, who could understand the language of animals? Calchas, Ampycus, dog whisperer Caesar Milan, or Melampus? Melampus in Greek mythology, a seer known for his ability to understand the language of animals. Who cut off Philomela's tongue? Aragon, Chloris, Jeffrey Dahmer, or Tyrus? In order to hide his guilt, Tyrus cut out Philomela's tongue. Who is the Greek god of love? Thaumas, Eros, Pontos, or Phorcys? The Geek god of love is Eros. Who killed Isis? Aglaea, Circe, Polyphemus, or Astrape? Polyphemus caught them sleeping on a grassy hill and killed Isis by crushing him under a huge rock. What is the name of the Greek goddess of the earth? Demeter, Gaia, Hera, or Aphrodite? Gaia, also called Gu, Greek personification of the earth as a goddess. In the Iliad, who were the custodians of the gates of Olympus? Aura, Icarus, Lolos, or Hypsipyle? Aura, plural ori, in Greco-Roman mythology, any one of the personifications of the seasons and goddesses of natural order. In the Iliad they were the custodians of the gates of Olympus. Who is the Greek god of medicine? CVS, Alkindor, Athaliah, or Asclepius? The Greek god of medicine is Asclepius. In Greek mythology, which Titan was condemned to holding up the sky for eternity? Phoebe, Atlas, Hyperion, or Helios? Atlas was a titan condemned to hold up the celestial heavens or sky for eternity after the Titanomachy. Who rescues Odysseus from drowning? Leucothea, Despoina, Uranus, or Superman? Leucothea rescued the Greek hero Odysseus from drowning. Who in Greek legend designed the Labyrinth of King Minos? Odysseus, Daedalus, Perseus, or Agamemnon? Daedalus, mythical Greek inventor, architect, and sculptor who was said to have built, among other things, the paradigmatic labyrinth for King Minos of Crete. Who led an army of Amazons to Troy? Agamemnon, Jeff Bezos, Laocoon, or Penthesilea? Penthesilea, in Greek mythology, a queen of the Amazons, well respected for her bravery, her skill in weapons, and her wisdom. She led an army of Amazons to Troy to fight against the Greeks. Who built the Trojan horse? Epeus, Agamemnon, Tlepolemus, or Automedon? The horse was built by Epeus, a master carpenter and pugilist. Who ferries the souls of the deceased? Thonius, Ipotane, Charon, or Cerberus? Charon, the son of Erebus and Nyx, whose duty it was to ferry over the rivers Styx and Acheron those souls of the deceased who had received the rites of burial. Name the Egyptian king who was the son of Poseidon. Akhenaten, Merneptah, Busiris, or Horaha? Busiris, in Greek mythology, Egyptian king, son of Poseidon and Lysianassa. Who did Agamemnon sacrifice to Artemis? Bolina, Philono, Iphigenia, or Encinque? Calchas the seer tells Agamemnon that to appease Artemis, he must sacrifice his eldest daughter, Iphigenia. Which sea monster has 12 feet and 6 heads? Scylla, Aello, Uriel, or Ocypete? Scylla was a supernatural female creature, with 12 feet and 6 heads on long snaky necks. Who did Demeter attempt to immortalize? Tupac, Troilus, Demophon, or Ether? Demeter attempted to immortalize Demophon by burning out his mortal parts, but was surprised in the act by his mother, who thought that she was harming the boy. How many heads does Cerberus, the guards of the underworld, have? 3, 25, 12, or 30? Cerberus, the monstrous watchdog of the underworld. He was usually said to have 3 heads, though the poet Hesiod said he had 50. In Greek mythology, who was put into an eternal sleep by Zeus? Endymion, Elvis, Nilus, or Euterpe. Zeus wanted to punish Endymion for daring to show romantic interest in Hera. Whatever the case, Zeus granted Selene's wish and put Endymion into an eternal sleep. In Homer's Odyssey, who was the keeper of the winds on the island of Aeolia? Nestor, Tiresias, Aeolus, or Arete? Aeolus in the works of Homer, controller of the winds and ruler of the floating island of Aeolia. What is the name of the Adonis flower? Rose gold, aster, red anemone, or chrysanthemum? The red anemone symbolizes death, or the act of forsaken love. While Aphrodite was crying, Adonis shed blood on the anemones that came from her tears and stained them red. What was Athena's sacred bird? Eagle, dodo, owl, or McChicken? Because of such association, the bird often referred to as the owl of Athena, or the owl of Minerva has been used as a symbol of knowledge, wisdom, perspicacity, and erudition throughout the Western world. Which nymph was transformed into a spring by Artemis? Melie, Orphne, Oreads, or Arethusa? The river god Alpheus fell in love with Arethusa, who was in the retinue of Artemis. Arethusa fled to Ortygia, where she was changed into a spring. Which Greek goddess is known as the goddess of chance? Megamillions, Kaberi, Chimera, or Tyche? Tyche, in Greek religion, the goddess of chance, with whom the Roman Fortuna. What magical object in Greek mythology brought ill fortune to anyone who possessed it? Flower, necklace, cornucopia, or scallop? The necklace of Harmonia was a magical object in Greek mythology that brought ill fortune to anyone who possessed it. Which Greek goddess is considered the queen of gods? Elizabeth II, Hera, Queen Bey, or Ananke? Hera, in ancient Greek religion, a daughter of the Titans Cronus and Rhea, sister wife of Zeus, and queen of the Olympian gods. Who helped Theseus escape the labyrinth? Charybdis, Eileithyia, Medusa, or Ariadne? Ariadne fell in love with the Athenian hero Theseus and, with a thread or glittering jewels, helped him escape the labyrinth after he slew the Minotaur. Which Greek hero was called Tamer of Horses? Hector, Paris, Alexander the Great, or Apollo? This Greek name Hector has two meanings. It means horseman, the second meaning to restrain like a bridle of a horse does. What did Greek goddess Thalia carry in her hand? Cell phone and hot Cheetos, roses and shells, bow and arrow, or comic mask and shepherd's staff? In her hand she carried the comic mask and the shepherd's staff. In Greek mythology, who shaped and formed the dreams? Cybele, Morpheus, Miss Cleo, or Silva Brown? Morpheus, the primordial Greek god of dreams. He shaped and formed the dreams, through which he could appear to mortals in any form. The name of which Greek goddess means youth or in the prime of life? Harmonia, Hestia, Hebe, or Athena? Hebe in ancient Greek religion is the goddess of youth or the prime of life. Who was transformed into a laurel tree in Greek mythology? Etna, Adrastea, Ursa, or Daphne? When the god pursued her, Daphne prayed to the earth, or to her father to rescue her, whereupon she was transformed into a laurel. For how long did the Trojan War last? 35 years, 10 years, 40 years, or 15 years? According to Homer's Iliad, the conflict between the Greeks, led by Agamemnon, king of Mycenae, and the Trojans, whose king was Priam, took place in the late Bronze Age and lasted 10 years. Who fell in love with his reflection? Claudius, Epion, Narcissus, or Pan? The disorder is named for the mythological figure Narcissus, who fell in love with his own reflection. What was the final resting place for the souls of heroes in Geek mythology? Fortunate Isles, Elysium, Mount Olympus, or Uranus? Elysium was the final resting place of the souls of heroes and virtuous men. Who is the Greek goddess of memory? Britamartis, Lampetia, Mnemosyne, or Eurynome? Mnemosyne in Greek mythology, the goddess of memory. Who was the chief god of the ancient Greeks? Zeus, Apollo, Hermes, or Minerva? Zeus, in ancient Greek religion, chief deity of the pantheon, a sky and weather god who was identical with the Roman god Jupiter. Which of these in Greek mythology is the god of the sea, earthquakes, and horses? Notice: Aristeus, Peneus, or Poseidon? Poseidon, in ancient Greek religion, god of the sea, earthquakes, and horses. Who was the mother and wife of Uranus? Pytharkia, Galene, Gaea, or Ceto? Gaea is the mother and wife of Uranus, from whom the Titan Cronus, her last-born child by him, separated her. She was also mother of the other Titans, the Gigantes, the Erinyes, and the Cyclopes. What is Neoptolemus also called? Hymen, Acacio, Agdistis, or Pyrrhus? Neoptolemus is also called as Pyrrhus. Who dragged Hector's body around the tomb of Patroclus? Achilles, Erycthonius, Dardanus, or Ilus? Achilles, with his lust for revenge still not satisfied, deliberately mistreats the body of Hector, tying him to his chariot and dragging him behind in the dirt as he drives back to the Greek camp. Who was the Greek goddess of the rainbow? Aphrodite, Hecate, Hera, or Iris? Iris in Greek mythology, the personification of the rainbow and a messenger of the gods. Who lured sailors with their enchanting music and sweet song? Siren, Scythian Draconi, sea goat, or satyr? Siren in Greek mythology, a creature half bird and half woman who lured sailors to destruction by the sweetness of her song. In Homer's Odyssey, who were the cannibalistic giants? Minotaur, Cyclop, Sphinx, or Lestrygons? Lestrygons were a tribe of man-eating giants encountered by Odysseus on his travels. According to Greek mythology, who was cooked and served to gods at a banquet? Pelops, Laomedon, Ezon, or Aegisthus? Pelops was a grandson of Zeus, the king of the gods. According to many accounts, his father, Tantalus, cooked and served Pelops to the gods at a banquet. Who was the foster mother of Zeus? Ceto, Amalthea, Rhea, or Aceso? Amalthea is the foster mother of Zeus, king of the gods. In Greek mythology, which city was founded by Ninus? Salus, Nineveh, Alexiers, or Echo? Ninus, the king of Assyria and the eponymous founder of the city of Nineveh, which itself is sometimes called Ninus. The death of which Greek legend is celebrated as a Spartan festival? Coeus, Hyacinthus, Selene, or Astræus? The death of Hyacinthus was celebrated at Amyclae by the second most important of Spartan festivals, the Hyacinthiae, in the Spartan month Hyacinthus. In Greek mythology, how many heads did the monster Typhon had? 100, 80, 60, or 50? Typhon was known as the father of all monsters. He was like a fire-breathing dragon with 100 heads, and he never slept. What is Themis the god of? Wisdom and good counsel, love and beauty, war and violence, or prophecy and poetry? Themis, the personification of justice, goddess of wisdom and good counsel, and the interpreter of the god's will. What is the other name for the Theseum temple? Temple of Hephaestus, Temple of Zeus, Temple of Olympian Zeus, or Doric Temple of Segesta? . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . The other name for the Theseum temple is the Temple of Hephaestus, which ancient Greek festival is held to honor Poseidon. Adonia. Isthmian Games. Independence Day. Or Lenaia. Isthmian Games in ancient Greece, a festival of athletic and musical competitions in honor of the sea god Poseidon, held in the spring of the second and fourth years of each Olympiad at his sanctuary on the Isthmus of Corinth. In Greek mythology, who flew too close to the sun? Pegasus, Icarus, Proteus, or Theseus? Icarus, in Greek mythology, son of the inventor Daedalus, who perished by flying too near the sun with waxen wings. What is the staff carried by Hermes called? Caduceus, hammer, trident, or bow? Staff called a caduceus. Hermes, a favorite god of the Greeks and one of the 12 great Olympian gods, was a messenger and bringer of dreams both for the gods and humans. Which annual women's festival was widely celebrated in ancient Greece? Amphidromia, Thesmophoria, Thargelia, or Apaturia? The Thesmophoria was an annual women's festival widely celebrated in ancient Greece. Like, comment, subscribe,